Here, let's see if I can
Hey everyone!
Hey, and I need to find the thing that the vine sauce person is asking for. Where is that at? Where is the fire tornado that happened yesterday?
I don't know. But check this out, guys, since you didn't hear it yet. Still a work in progress. I need to change the instrument on that second verse, but yeah. I'm really happy with this so far. This is a remake of a piece I started and then abandoned January of last year. It's called A Good Day to Walk the Dog. It's supposed to be like a town... It's supposed to be like a generic town theme, like Omori.
It is definitely good. It's going to turn it out really good. It's a very classic thing. Alright, just waiting for you to connect.
I'm trying to connect. But video game is... There we go.
There we go.
Let us do... a thing. Ooh, I need to raise the volume of this.
Yeah, the volume seems to have lowered from the last update.
Go figure.
Almost. That was my computer.
Whoops! Sorry.
I appreciate the volume being turned up on my end too, but that was my computer.
I didn't do it to your computer. I didn't finish anyway. There we go.
I saw it open up. I wasn't sure. Oh, this is... yeah.
Okay, still can't hear it. Well...
You can't hear it?
Yeah, hang on. I'm gonna turn it up for you, too.
What do you mean?
I'm gonna turn it up... Okay, well, I need to... completely redo my stuff again.
Parsec, mini frame. Yeah, it's going through in Parsec. Make a good mega level. That's all maxed out.
Where the heck is Discord? There it is. Well, that's not gonna help, is it? Because...
Why would the music not be coming through? That's weird.
I don't know. It just isn't. Oh, wait. No, that's not it. But yeah, I don't know what is happening with the microphone right now, but it is not picking up. Yeah, whatever it's picking up from the computer is quieter than just the background noise. And that's not right.
Huh? The microphone from the computer? Where are you getting it? That's...
Okay, actually, hang on. Alright, I guess I just need to turn myself down. Bup, bup, bup. Whoops. Gah, this thing is being a thing right now. Okay, that ought to be good, I think. Alright, but you know what? Let's shove my computer off to one side. And oh, I need to plug my computer in. That would not be good if it did a thing.
Oh, hold on.
Okay.
How about now? Is that better?
Well, now I need to turn Discord down.
Is it better now? Because it was selecting like my PS4 controller, I think.
It's still, I mean, it's still hovering around like minus 30 decibels, so I have to turn my microphone way down so the background noise doesn't drown it out.
That's weird.
Your voice is coming in just fine, it's just the game audio.
Coming through Parsec.
Yeah. Yeah, if you can get into Parsec, check its audio output device. I don't know.
That's what I did.
Okay, well, it didn't make a difference. Whatever. Let's go.
Yeah, that is particularly odd. It's still not working. I already tried the fixes on there.
Yeah, your voice is at minus 10 and the game is at minus 30.
Minus 30? What?
Yeah. 30 decibels below maximum.
Oh.
And if I turn my microphone up all the way, then the background noise is also minus 30.
That's weird.
Yeah, like ideally you want it to be at like, I don't know, maybe minus 35 or 40.
Yeah, because it has the right audio output.
Alright, well, anyway, let's go.
Alright. I don't know what's going on with that yet. Very weird.
Yeah. So, we're on tier 11.
Nothing is working now. Whatever happened with Discord, try disconnecting from Parsec. I think it screwed up the,
Okay.
Yeah, none of my... I have to close that out, because none of my inputs are working again. Alright, just leave the thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever happened there caused everything to glitch out. Yay, Parsec. Hold on, I need to wait for MaGMML to restart. Because my controller just stopped working and only you could control it again. That's definitely Parsec and not MaGMML, so there's not much you can do about that. I wish it had inbuilt multiplayer, but that's probably real hard to incorporate, right?
Hmm.
Okay.
I'm hearing... Whoa, okay, what is...
What is what?
I am hearing echoes of myself.
Echoes of yourself?
Yes, I can hear my own voice coming in on your computer.
That's... coming from Discord, maybe? It shouldn't be capturing Discord. It should not be capturing Discord. I turned that off. Woo, woo, woo.
Wee wee wee. Wee wee woo.
Oh, hold on.
Oops.
Try it now.
Ha 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 ha. Ha ha ha. Hey ho hey ho. Yes, it's still coming in.
Try disconnecting, reconnecting again. When I turned off echo canceling, it turned off the Discord thing.
Alright, well now I don't see you in Parsec at all.
What? But I'm right here!
Oop, there you are.
What the heck? Parsec is being glitchy today. Okay.
Yes, you're good.
Okay, is the sound better now, or?
Yes.
Okay. So
well, the sound isn't better than it was, but I don't hear myself anymore, so that's fine.
That is really weird. Oh, we already talked to you. Yeah, that is extremely weird. Then
I just tried to wall jump up the wall like I'm the noise.
Platformer hijinks.
Is this what we're doing? I guess this is what we're doing. Ooh, Mega Man 10 music. is that thing?
Dung Beetle.
I've never seen that in a Mega Man game. What is it from?
It's one of the newer Mega Mans, I think.
Like what, 11?
Maybe. I don't know if we're on 11. I think it's like 10 or 9 or 10, I think.
I definitely would remember if it was in 9 or 10. Maybe it's from 7.
Maybe.
Nobody remembers 7 and 8. Anything it could be from 7 and 8.
7 isn't that bad. 8 isn't bad either, just has hilarious voice acting. And jump, jump, slide, slide.
Die, die.
And like some of the most boring Wily stage music ever created.
Not like 10. Whoops. Thanks, game.
And 7 has like one of the hardest, if not the hardest, wiry fight. The UFO fight, at least. Oh no! Do not protect the dung beetles. Oh, I'm trying to shoot faster because I was used to mine. I bought the extra shots on mine. What the?
Bad looping!
Music fading out.
Bad looping.
That came across pretty loud all of a sudden.
Well, my laptop is right next to my microphone for reasons now, but yeah.
This is like a simple base game stage. It's not hard, or well, the music is still weirdly looping or not looping, but that was fairly. This is fairly like basic standard.
Oh right, let's no, shush. Alright, well, I can't exactly do more composing while this is going on, so I guess I'll just save this and leave it for later.
So many dung beetles.
Oh no, it's Sentinel Proxima! Ow. Yeah. Alright, what do we got here? Video games. Platform Hijinks by Drill Peter. Platiform. Well, this level turned out better than the misspelt name implied. The two core gimmicks, dongun girders and conveyor wheels, are simple yet highly effective for platforming, and the level finds a decent variety for them, though it can get a bit samey. They also have a natural difficulty curve, and there's a lot of useful enemies to bolster the level design. Of those enemies, Ace Manbo is easily the most effective. His range is massive, but it's predictable and slow, making it the perfect combination with the wide-open platform rooms. Unfortunately, a few of the other enemies are a bit less impressive. Ben K isn't badly used, but his difficulty curve is a bit off. The most nerve-wracking one is fought early in the wheel section. All the samurai after him are easy pickings. As for Pierobug, he makes an effective enough obstacle. However, considering the effort to block him off, there's a staggering number of bugs that can be killed with Thunder Beam, invalidating their challenge. I wouldn't mind if that was intentional, since Pierobug can be a right jerk, but since there was an effort to protect him, I'm not entirely sure this was intended. Oh well, it's Mega Man, bypassing challenges with weapons is what he does. Other than that, the level's main issues are improperly looping music and really just a lack of wow factor. It's nothing we haven't seen before, but it's still a good level. Props for that. There's not a whole lot I can really say about this one. This level doesn't really do anything horrible, but at the same time it didn't really do anything amazing either. That said, this is another instance where I feel the rather easy enemy and gimmick layouts work to the detriment of the stage. The platforming challenges and enemy placement are very basic for a majority of it, to the point where you can breeze past most of the rooms without second thought. Even the sections where it might seem like you have to deal with the enemies in hazardous spots, you can also often dispose of them from a safe distance, without ever having to engage. Or in some of the vertical sections, run right past them. Even the Pierobugs that are protected by reflect blocks don't pose much of a threat if you just start moving forward after they've done their initial attack. Not to mention, you can often bypass their extra shielding with Thunder Beam. Having said all that, I can at least recognize there was effort put into the general flow of the stage. Enemies and gimmicks all have proper introductions and their own segments, all of which get combined in the final lead up to the boss. Incidentally, that last segment is the only one that I felt had any meaningful impact on the difficulty curve, if only slightly. While the rest of the level certainly tries to ramp things up at times, the ease at which you can neuter or bypass those segments ultimately break this stage. You got the right idea with introducing things, but the level really could have used more bite to it. Platiform Platypus. It's a decent stage. It's got a progression with the gradual increase in complexity of the platforming challenges, ending with mixing the two platform gimmicks together. Though, it feels like some of the rooms in the later section are easily trivialized. I don't really agree with using a roach enemy as the main choice. It makes it quite annoying dealing with an enemy who doesn't give you much of a window to attack while you're not able to stand your ground most of the time. It's also just average in challenge and theming in general. Given the two platform gimmicks are used pretty frequently throughout the contest, their usage here isn't all that outstanding. Poor audio mixing job, with the stage music being so much louder than anything and doesn't even loop properly. Why not just use the version of the song the engine already provided? Give me a level with a clear difficulty curve, regular checkpoints, clean visuals, a sensible screen count, logical flow, and some fresh ideas, and I'll be happy as long as it doesn't do anything to wreck the fun. This level delivers on all counts. I like the challenge progression. Introduce the main enemies, add a gimmick, switch to a different gimmick, then combine both gimmicks. There's ample time to acclimate to each new challenge, admittedly too much time. Several sections could stand to be condensed, especially in the beginning. The challenges are solid though. Ben K is used in subtly clever ways. The mini-bosses make great use of both gimmicks, and instant death enhances the challenges without dominating them. I appreciate the meaningful use of indestructible blocks to shield Juggle Bug, or whatever it's called, but that's one setup we see a bit too often. It's refreshing to leap without scrutinizing what I'm going to land on. Conveyors all face the same direction, and it's the twisting level layout that decides whether they push or pull. Aesthetically, the level is quite nice, but with a few missteps. Music fades out before it loops, and I notice some misplaced tiles in the background. Theming could be stronger. Despite a cohesive gameplay theme, nothing ties the level together visually. I think the boss dropped the Iron Ball here. Not only does it feel like an arbitrary choice, but neither gimmick made it into the boss chamber. Other issues are few and mild. Two-way screen transitions are unnecessary and hazardous. Due to all the wide open spaces and shielded enemies, Rush Jet and Laser Trident rob several sections that are challenges. Too close to danger upon entry. Items, especially bolts, give the impression that this is secretly a charity event. There's room for improvement. But the level doesn't need it. Good implementation of good ideas makes for some mighty fine platforming. There are moments in this level which show real promise. However, these are the exceptions rather than the rule. Ultimately, the level resolves around several shielded enemies. You can wait a lot of time waiting around for them to be vulnerable. The Ben K enemies are the most obvious example of this. The first time it is combined with the conveyor belt works really well, but it makes a challenge out of waiting. Unfortunately, the other times this enemy is used, including the second time with the conveyor belt, the player is in no danger while waiting. It is simply a waste of time rather than creating a challenge. The player is a waste of time?
Oh no.
Most of the other enemies in the stage are also shielded, breaking the flow of the level and how the platforming challenges are set up. That said, the Ace Mando fish was placed well and showed up in appropriate and interesting locations. Both times the mini-boss showed up were original takes on the fight and showed how you can incorporate gimmicks well into boss encounters. They're far more interesting and fun than just placing them down, which is unfortunately what happened at the end boss. The fight consideration is pretty good. Checkpoints and everything being introduced well. The tiling of the stage is competent other than a couple of missed tiles. Aesthetically, it was very pleasing, if a bit generic. I'm not much of a fan of stages aping the Wily feels. It loses any personality. In the Judge build, there's a set of spikes that have missing collision and an enemy that can easily knock you into them, all resulting in a soft lock. Thankfully, platform in the next room can unintentionally get you out, or else the stability score would have been much lower. Overall, there's a lot of promise here, let down by serious pacing issues.
Haste man, we be blazing fast, Robot Master. What you may not know about me is that I'm also an expert speed. Oh wait, where did he talk to you?
One time I went through a library and absolutely not. Video games.
We went through and talked to a bunch of them.
Evil Energy Facility. It's Mega Man 8, baby. Skip gate.
Why is there a skip gate?
I don't know.
Robirds. And just with the weird, like, Sigma face on the background, please. What the heck are you? Oh, well, this is certainly weird. Ah, yeah. Oh, I think I see what's going on. You can get stuck. Yeah, you can get stuck with that thing. What?
Nice! Scrolling on its own! Go, go, go! Nice. Oh, yeah! You see the darker rails?
Yeah.
The
I noticed that, that's what
yeah,
I
the
was
decoy keeps its momentum on those.
You still have energy left, what is going on?
I don't know, shenanigans.
I still have energy left, barely. Some help, please?
No! I dig the music.
One health left. Feels like I'm playing post-game Stranger of Paradise. Uh-oh. Oh!
Poison Joe!
That is going to be super annoying.
Yeah! Ooh! Huh. Oops.
Oh, those guys turn up the gravity or something?
No! That's just too high to jump. Woo! Water!
No, those guys turn up the gravity when they're doing that.
They fill the room with water.
They do?
Yeah, see the bubbles?
Oh. I guess it's kind of hard to tell it's supposed to be water.
Yeah.
I think that's just a weird effect, the bubbles. Like a default effect that they're using. Oh!
Wind? Wind.
No! I need to do something here to get through this, which is going to be very annoying. Oh, this jumping is going to suck. Yep. Oh, that is some terrible positioning. Wow.
Yeah.
And now gravity is turned up without warning? What?
It looks like you're jumping the same height.
No.
Oh no, the floor is like sticky.
Yeah, something like that. This is a pain in the butt level, wow. I think I'm starting to see a little bit why there's skip gates in this. The mechanics are kind of flaky.
Yeah.
See what I mean? It's turned up.
I said get out of here.
Problem is we might need to use those guys for stuff too. So, oh! Ah! Shut up with the sound effects! Whoa, whoa, whoa! I made it. Ow. Ugh. Aga!
Bonus? No bonus. Woo!
Ow. Ow! This is a huge pain in the butt. Oh my god. Yeah, this is
I'm
definitely a high
having fun.
difficulty level.
Oh, you can see the effect on the left side.
Yeah.
You can just jump down that way.
Oh. Okay. Bin.
No, you ain't go.
Oh.
Ooh, get it! Get the thing! Get you thing! Yay! And he respawned.
Get ye to the thingery.
Yeah, pretty much.
I
Water!
think I'm gonna use an energy tank, because this level is pretty long and kind of annoying.
Oop.
Oh, no. Oh.
Oof!
Yep. This is requiring some pretty freaking expert Mega Man platforming and stuff in this. That is a lot of damage, holy crap. Hi, weird bird thing. Get off me!
Nice.
Oh no, here we go again. Ah! Well... Good thing evil energy doesn't really do anything. This isn't Cyrus. Bastion's accidentally gonna go Cerberus here.
Okay, everybody get out. Ah!
So many freaking enemies in here. What the heck? The only demon-y thing that Bastion has is the plant monster and
the eagle.
Yeah, well, the eagle was purified the celestial. Unless that's still got the demon one in there.
I don't remember that.
No, remember when he took it as his... That's when he almost became the Were Eagles, because he was converting it over to like make it his own thing with celestial stuff. So unless the demon eagle is still in there somewhere. Oh, this is such a pain in the butt. Why do you shoot so fast? Oh, it is so hard to avoid damage in this. I mean, maybe the initial bear before Kodiak, but... Oh, this is brutally hard. What the heck?
It looks like we're almost at the end, though. Maybe.
Yeah. This is gonna be even harder single player. Oop. Well.
Yeah, I'm gonna get killed by a lag spike, and then by actual spikes.
That's my own fault. My microphone kind of blocks part of the screen. But I don't have anywhere else to put it, because I don't have, like, a dangly thing for it. Whatever you call it. The, stand. Whatever. But nah, the Demon Eagle thing, he turned straight into the, like, Celestial Eagle thing when he was trying to make it his own stuff. And risk the Wereburb. I mean, if Demon Eagle's still in there, it doesn't really matter, I guess, but... Because his eagle form was always, like, white, like, stripey.
Okay.
Yeah, because otherwise the, make it his own thing doing the stuff he was doing wouldn't have happened, so... Oh, God! Finally! Unless Sonya... Who the hell are you? Unless Sonya managed to find Demon Eagle in there, too. Who... You certainly are a dude. He has the... Oh, ho, 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 ho.
So he does.
I have no idea who you are. He is really hard to dodge.
And now he's dead.
Yep.
Alright, let's go back in and see what the skip gate guys say. It's probably just gonna be Fragile Man. Yeah. Sub's got gimmicks that aren't very player-friendly, and everything in the level hits like a truck. For that reason, the judges have deemed this level skippable. All the collectibles are to the left. Nothing makes me feel better. I ran into a glitch doctor in there, and now my cogs are cursed.
Okay.
Steam.
Yeah, it was just the brutal, like, difficulty.
Solifant. Wow. Alright then, this is certainly a level. In regards to individual pieces, I have only a few complaints. The Raw Raven enemies work well in groups, and the Evil Joes are an excellent bait and switch. On the more gimmicky end, the Voodoo Dolls and the Hex enemies are just plain cool, and I have to give props for the telegraphing work with the specific spells. Pay attention to your health bar. Wrap it up with Revo-style evil energy drips and properly telegraphed Ringman platforms. And this is also an excellent start. My complaint here is that the Mets. Their shots are too fast and too big. I also think the evil energy drips should have been a different color. Purple on purple is a poor choice of readability. Unfortunately, what really shoots the level in the foot is the rough design. Not for a lack of trying, the stage makes excellent use of its variety. However, this gets too difficult too fast. The best example I can name is with the Ringman Rainbow platforms. Immediately after their introduction, we have precarious climbing, wind effects, respawning ravens, a puzzle, And that's all at once! That's too much for the second room, and it's one of the most finicky challenges in the stage. Even beyond the sometimes literal difficulty spikes, there's just too much going on at once. Oh, you know what? In that room with the guy at the top, you were supposed to use the wingman platforms to drop it into the pit.
Oh, I guess I just damage boosted my way through them.
Yeah. Even beyond the sometimes literal difficulty spikes, there's just too much going on at once. I have a recording of the final section, and even watching it and replaying it later, I'm still not quite sure what's happening. Just never quite enemies spam, since the planes clearly have thought behind them. It's chaotic enough that I really feel the limited checkpoints and lack of power-ups. I get this is a facility for malignant alien energy development, but this is a bit much. Weapons can make the level easier, but they must be used intelligently. Improper application of tools like Thunderbeam and Tornado Blow can quickly and rapidly get you killed. And oftentimes I found it easier to stick to the Buster. Hexman himself is a lot like his level. His AI is learnable, his concepts are solid, and the fight can be fun. He also has more attacks than his health bar can sustain, and he does a ton of crash damage considering his AI. Figuring him out completely is an arduous task, especially with his cramped arena and general physics insanity. Once you are used to him, he's fine. But getting to that point can be more trouble than it's worth. It's ultimately an enjoyable duel, but one that's quite rough around the edges. In the end, I'd say that summarizes the level nicely. It can be fun once you're used to it, but until you're at that point, Lilith has no issue throwing you in a spiky grave. I really, really want to like this level a lot more than I currently do. It's got some very neat things going for it, but at the same time it also has a lot of issues that hold it back. The main problem here is the difficulty. While the stage introduces new enemies and gimmicks just fine, there doesn't seem to be much of a middle ground for testing a player before throwing them into the deep end. One example of this is a rainbow of platforms. They're introduced in a pretty straightforward way in a safe room. This is immediately followed up by a rather demanding room that has you contending with wind effects and respawning enemies that home towards you. Feels more like a setup that belongs later in the level. All this isn't to say I dislike some of the challenges here, but a good chunk of them end up being a bit too brutal. It's kind of a shame since most of the ideas here are really interesting. The evil energy affecting enemies is something I wish was explored a bit more, as there's a lot of potential with that concept alone. The voodoo dolls on wires are also pretty neat, but the sections they show up in, barring the first one, are so packed with enemies they quickly turn into chaos if you don't take them as slow as possible. And sadly, that's not even an option for the one leading to the first token. The boss fight unfortunately doesn't make up for any of this either. It's all due to one specific problem, the status effects he afflicts on you. These throw off the fight completely, especially when he uses the wind... wrong button. Oh. The wind effect. That's not even getting into his high damage output either. You can only soak up about 5 direct hits from him before you're dead. If it weren't for those issues, he'd still be relatively tricky, but an otherwise manageable boss. Instead, he ends up being just as chaotic as the rest of the stage. Skull and Hex! Recipe for Grim Prescription!
Glasses, oh no.
It is definitely a very creative stage with some really cool and unique mechanics. The problem, though, is how the stage plays out. How the stage layout is so restrictively designed in a way that there's not much wiggle room for the player. I'm not making it. Not a very pleasant experience. I like the idea of the various curses the Witch Doctor enemies can inflict. However, I can't say I'm a fan of surrounding set enemies and reflect bot cages pretty much always. They might as well have been indestructible stage hazards. A side effect that comes with the cages is it also limits the playing field as well, making the stage feel cramped in various spots. There's also an abundance of insta-death pits with respawning flying enemies who home in on you, and vets who can aim their shots. You see where this is going? All these together essentially force the player to play slowly and carefully, which makes getting killed and sent back more severe of a progression loss. The voodoo doll? I like the idea behind it, how it controls the screen scroll, but what I don't like is the tendency of the flying enemy hanging around those. It's very easy to miss your shot and send the voodoo doll flying through the long string. Don't use Thunderbeam with these things present, trust me. Tileset and aesthetics look great, though the purple is a bit monochromic throughout the facility session. Music sounds fine, but the short loop can make it a little grating after a while to force the slow pace of the stage. The boss just doesn't work at all. Having him also inflict the curses at you, making you have to constantly adapt to the changes in the heat of the battle, while it also reacts to your inputs, it's a lot of micromanaging to do. The wind especially makes it nigh impossible to avoid damage. Oh, and the ceiling spikes, they're insta-death. Whoops. I am so glad someone finally did something interesting and worthwhile with evil energy. Using recolored acid droppers to supercharge enemies is a brilliant move, and the whole look of the level, while a bit too uniformly purple, is everything I'd expect from an evil energy facility. Rainbow platform puzzles are novel. The Mega Man practice dummy adds a fascinating mechanic of manual auto-scrolling. Enemies that change the global physics are superbly unique. That being said, the level is borderline unplayable. Challenge design with no regard whatsoever for appropriate pacing or learning curve. Cramped, awkward architecture that allows minimal room to maneuver. Brutal and crowded playthrough. Spawning birds, I think they're birds, that quickly overrun the screen. Good checkpoint and power placement only go so far. For me, there's no logic or finesse in any of the challenges, and no sense that much playtesting occurred. Shooting the dummy from both sides with every weapon yields inconsistent responses. Breaking the dummy breaks the camera position. Global physics changes need to be way clear. Tint the screen above a different color. Put the icon above the enemy rather than tucked away under the health bar. Use boss and icon designs that are unmistakable for anything else, etc.
Jealous puppy, my goodness.
Invincible blocks are no substitute for invincible enemies. Tornado Blow can get around the barriers and soft lock players where water physics are required. The boss doesn't need 2 health bars, just half the damage taken. On a personal note, if you're going to hide a secret area behind a destructible block, at least change the blocks right so it doesn't scream, "Secret this way!" It kills me, literally and figuratively, and messy design ruins the creative premise. Please remake this level with less enemy spam and more streamlined gimmicks. The concepts, tileset, soundtrack, and charmingly antagonistic boss laughter deserve not to be overshadowed. There's one thing I came away from this stage. It's all a bit much. So the stage is creative, and I rather love the Voodoo Mega Man doll scroller idea. The Hex enemies, the Evil Energy Joes, these are all really cool concepts. Checkpoints are decent, and things are introduced well so the player isn't left confused by the sheer weirdness going on. In practice, though, my opening comment is what made this only a good stage, not a great stage. Rooms are very crowded, having around an average of 3 to 4 enemies to deal with at once, some of which have debuffs, others constant spawning, yet others have really complex AI patterns. For instance, with this complexity, you need fewer for the player to deal with. There's way too much stuff going on in any given room. Finally, there's the boss. Individually, I enjoy his attacks, concept, and idea, but yet again, this all follows the same all a bit much pattern as the stage. Sure, he has Crashman's AI, but for anyone not paying attention, prepare to be comboed into oblivion. He deals an awful lot of damage, and the second phase is where the difficulty is ramped to almost too high extremes. With the boss pulling out several new attacks out of nowhere, and even throwing in some Airman-style dodging for good measure. I eventually got the hang of him, but the keyword is eventually. I did enjoy myself a bit here. I just wish it was more balanced. Shelf dust. Wily's Haunted Castle. Ah, Bastion, you've arrived. I need your help. I don't know how it happened, but my glorious new fortress has been acting up. To put it bluntly, my fortress has somehow been haunted. Anyway, do you think you could put aside our differences and help me out here? I promise I'll put off my attack for at least a week if you help me. Oh, and if you can find those blasted tokens I accidentally left inside, I'll upgrade the deal to 2 weeks. Excellent. Wait, what? Fine, I'll throw in some bolts too. Now get going.
What's with even bad guys asking Bastion for help? Ah, that's a good way to introduce that. Uh-oh. It's those again. We don't know how they respond to which player. Chaos. Chaos. Uh-oh. Huh?
Gotta leave and come back in. Oh, or that.
Oh yeah, it's like protection against... Can we not do that?
Yeah. Those things start to fall when they reach the center of the screen, by the way. You don't have to land on them.
Whoa! Those moving platforms is gonna be a nightmare. Oh. Oh no. Oh, well, ow, what? Ow? I guess we're gonna have to use the... Or...
I think...
Slide out of the way.
Actually, I don't know what... Yeah.
No, no. I already let you out.
Go up!
Oh no. Agla!
Lag spike.
Ooh! You were already out, Luna, please. Ah!
Yay! Whee!
So many enemies. Not one of them dropping health.
It's okay, it's checkpoint time. Wait, 2 checkpoints in a row? Huh.
That is some asshole-ish jumping required there. Wow.
Or magnet beam.
Yeah.
That was not a high enough magnet beam.
Yeah, that section down below is not tuned well. That is asshole-ish jumping. We're gonna skip it. Luna, I already let you out right before I started the stream. We're not doing this. Yeah, outside of, yeah, trying to buster only that would be a nightmare, wow. Oh!
Okay.
It's waiting for me, I guess. Luna, no, don't get caught in the cords. Luna, please. Oh, this is way too many enemies at once. Stop. I can't even get up there with magnet beams. Jeez. Enemy spam central. Jeez.
It's the ghost of too many enemy. Ah! We made it.
What? How the heck did I die? Why did it have to be like a wily UFO battle at the end of this? Yeah, I don't know. That seems to me to be an issue. Oh, oh, this was a pain in the butt. It throws Top Man at us. Okay, that's kind of funny, but. Luna, calm down, puppy.
Puppy.
That was kind of overkill. The level. Jeez.
Yeah. Wait, we're helping Wily clear out the poltergeist? Shouldn't we be pointing and laughing instead? Anyway, I really like the feel here. I expect the haunted cast to be all spooky and dreary, which is kind of true with the boss, but between the bopping music and reliance on regular dev kit assets, it becomes a subtle Saturday morning cartoon sort of haunted, which is really cool. It's also cool to see just how the theming manifests. Shadow Mega Man at the entrance was beautiful, and there's a number of bouncing platforms that can only be explained by ghosts, at least in universe. As far as the level itself, this is alright. Shadow Mega Man is an effective obstacle and speed segments, whereas Dokkan pits make good punishments. Battens are also excellent, particularly the Astro Walls that summon them. For that matter, the Astro Walls are just plain entertaining. I appreciate that the variety they can spawn is kept low, eliminating some of the excess RNG problems the walls can cause, and of course, the flip platforms get put to a lot of fancy use. I've not seen them on rails prior to this, and the way they influence the final few rooms is just plain fun. Unfortunately, the design itself is a little off. Not for lack of trying, this haunted castle has a wide variety of interesting scenarios, particularly with its two bosses. However, the level has a strange idea on how to use instant death. After introducing the core gimmicks, the player is immediately thrown into a segment that's basically stop and die. However, as the level gets more complex, it gets less deadly, which cancels out any difficulty curve and makes it feel about the same throughout. There's still growth as you get further. The loss in difficulty curve is still to the level's detriment. Beyond that, my only other complaint is that the boss is a little on the long side, owed to ridiculous airtime, and can break outright if you fight him wrong. As a whole, this is a fun level. Difficulty curve is a little too off-kilter, but the good overall experience is a good time. Fine job. I'm not really getting too much of a haunted vibe from all this, aside from the general theming of the enemies and boss. Either way, the stage has some decent things going for it, but not without a few issues as well. Platforming in this level is a bit odd. While I like some of the concepts present, there's a problem with the room layouts. A few of them, especially in the early parts, feel way too cramped. The sheer number of enemies in some of these sections doesn't really help matters either. Thankfully, the rooms become more open and the enemy count is mostly reduced once you get close to the mid-boss, which I found to be rather tedious without abusing Laser Trident in all honesty. This is also the point where the gimmick usage becomes a lot more interesting. Putting the flip platforms on rails offers a small but decent twist to their functionality. Most of the segments involving them are rather enjoyable, save for the aforementioned mid-boss. And that one room toward the end that features an astro wall and a long winding rail. Got tired of waiting for the flip platform in that room pretty quickly. Especially since the astro wall doesn't offer much of a distraction during the whole process. That aside, we also have the custom boss to contend with. While I like the concept behind him, I definitely would prefer if he didn't follow a perfect pattern with his attacks. A bit less predictability could add something, in face of his projectiles being rather easy to avoid at least. I also discovered a pretty major bug with his Firestorm attacks. If you get rid of some of the flames with Fire Shield, the boss becomes stuck in an idle state at the top of the screen. Even without abusing this glitch, however, I still found the fight to be the easiest part of the level. His Desperation mode doesn't really make him that much more threatening. Overall, while it's not that bad of a stage, I do think it could easily have been a lot better as well. Boo! Haunted Castle! This stage started out well, but it kind of became unreasonable toward the end. I think the Astroman screen gimmick is decent with its usage here, at least when it's just spawning the bats at the beginning. It has a startup time before they target you. Then it starts putting the flipping platforms on Crashman rails. They definitely require some getting used to. They weren't so bad when these was purely platform challenges. Problem with the stage begins with that mini-boss fight. When doing Buster only, they're just really hard to hit due to very precise hitboxes going on where you can only hurt them on certain spots. You also need to time the platforms right to get up to shoot them without bumping into them directly. The biggest annoyance of all is the infinitely spawning bats. They really didn't need to be there. Toward the end, where the Astroman screens start to spawn more things like the Tomahawk platforms too. It's funny for sure, but at one point one of the platforms just kept bouncing on one of the Crashman rail part indefinitely and looked really janky. So it became a bit awkward to play. Dr. Light Capsule is a boss who spends 80% of the time airborne and out of reach. Huzzah! Just these special weapons. Any bedeviled building worth its salt ought to have a personality, be it horrifying, creepy, or just spoopy. This is less a haunted castle and more a regular fortress filled with thematically related objects. The dialogue with Wily is a great start, and the ghostly boss, though intolerably slow to defeat without special weapons, is a great end. The fade to black between sections is appropriately ominous, and it helps downplay how bewilderingly varied the decorations are. The sections with the colder color palette and chains or cobwebs in the background are the only ones that convey the haunted castle vibe. The enemy and gimmick selection helps to an extent, but not as much as it could. Girders could be disguised as chunks of ceiling. Enemies that pop out of walls could have a more ghostly look. Invisible platform rails could be animated to fade in and out of existence. Rooms could be less cluttered and paced more deliberately to build tension. More humor could be included to play off the lightheartedly spooky feel of the music. Although I want more from the atmosphere, I'm pretty happy with the gameplay. There's a lot to absorb, often in a short span of time, but it never feels overwhelming. I appreciate how the background graphics draw attention to the hazards. Flip platforms on rails are a satisfyingly tricky innovation. Shadow clone placement is well considered, and the first token is fun to claim. That said, I don't understand the probably glitchy bouncing flip platforms. Why the first token uses a random teleport instead of more restrictive architecture to deter cheaters? The mini-boss room is nauseatingly busy. Power-ups are far too generous. Things tend to get messy when objects spawn from scrolling walls, and there are logistical issues with infinitely spawning stationary objects. So the execution could be tighter, but for Haunted Castle leaning heavily on not-so-haunted dev kit assets, this is a good effort. My main takeaway from this stage is, I actually enjoyed it. This combination of gimmicks, enemies, and yes, the mood and music gets the stage to completely sidestep a recurring problem in this contest, Wily Castle-style levels that feel utterly generic and forgettable. This level has a clear identity of its own. While I would have preferred some more unique tiling or tileset, the combination of assets also allows for some genuinely memorable moments of panic. As he dodged from series, bats, and somehow missed seeing the haunted mirror that's very clearly visible and thus getting bonked by your doppelganger. It's also an utter mess. Rather slapdash placement is further compounded by the Astroman wall throwing a real randomness into the mix. Often killing a player as a randomly spawned and now unavoidable enemy or girder knocks them into a straight pit as they were trying to maneuver around the things mentioned above. The flip platforms for Windman are a particular nuisance, as the player often has to reset their orientation, so platforming challenge is even possible without weapons. I do appreciate you leaving the utilities enabled, and thoughtful checkpoint placement really helps lessen the frustration. It's a shame not enough care was put into the placement of some of the assets. The boss was unexpected. The pounds he throws out are fun, but I do wish he had less health. It's really a big drawback here. It's a long drawn-out fight with the boss staying out of firing range for most of it. Not only do you see everything the boss does rather quickly, the whole thing is pretty damn easy, thus making the arbitrary health boost even more egregious. Really does not justify having two phases. The first two tokens are pretty fun to collect, but unfortunately the third one is incredibly messy. Alongside the entire room it's in, real shame the level layout had to end on such a low note. I need water!
Comedy! Susie walking endlessly into a wall. Staying quiet nowadays. Everyone is so casual here. They never think about the ones like you, or being considerate and silent. I voice my feelings about this very vocally and loudly, and I am not being at all hypocritical. Given of true AI and mechanical life, we've never been closer to proving the infinite monkey theorem of reality. Strangely, such a straightforward statistical independent proof requires actually training other monkeys. Maybe we should instead look into why we billions of zeros and ones still require teaching as if we were biological apes. Wet.
Wet. That sure is a level name. Ah, Bastion. I feel honored to be competing in the same tournament such as a renowned animal. However, I seem to be in a bit of a rut. All of a sudden, I'm struggling to beat any of these simulations.
You know, I know it's just because you can choose how you're identified and animals one of the options, but it's still kind of almost like an insult. Renowned animal. Like, okay.
I must ask, would you be willing to spar with me? I think it would help me get my flow back. Excellent. Follow me to a corner of this library where we can safely make some noise. Woo! I've been bested, but I feel reinvigorated. That battle had my blood pumping. Please, take the spare energy element as my thanks. I'll need it for his tier anyway. Bonus!
Seconds. There is a secret thing over here, though, so it's like... See, watch, you go on the other screen, you can notice it. Oh! It's monkeys arguing over... Oh, monkeys trying to write Shakespeare. Okay.
Yeah.
I get it.
Time penalty. If this got into tier 11 with a 25% time penalty, it's gonna be... It's really good. Ooh. I've heard this before. I forget where.
I don't know. Ah! Well, I didn't expect it to jump that high. Great lag. I respawn myself and get lagged.
Oh, it's Dark Castle from Kirby's Dream Land 2!
Fish. Where's Thorn when you need him? I haven't seen him in ages. I wonder if he's okay. Thorn.
Yeah.
So much fish. This level is weak to otters. And I guess eagles too, probably.
And kitties.
And bears.
Nefforder!
Darn it!
Nefuyama!
Maybe there's some crazy up and downs going on.
Big fish! Invincifish!
Infishable. How the heck do I get on that with that fish is like really quick?
I don't know. Mag beam. Or skip the ladder with rush coil.
Or kill the big fish, I guess. Ah!
Flarger! Two ways? No.
Those big fish come up way too quickly. Need a little bit more of a delay, and it is hard to avoid damage in this level. Fish. Oh, Kirby friend.
It's kind. Thanks for playing this cool stage. Make sure to check out these cool dudes for the assets used in the stage. Graphics, Karakato. Music, Missed Something and Delta Mudkit. Coding, Big Fish. Playtesting, Snowmart Pyro, Big Fish, Yoshi Adam, Mini Macro. By the way, I'll be fighting you in the next room. Hope you'll have a great time. Fish. Ow. Hey, it's a remix of Kind's theme. Almost had him.
I still have health left. That wasn't enough damage to kill me. What the heck?
Yeah! Yeah! That was a little crazy.
That wasn't too bad. It was just a little overkill on the parts.
Wet. I'd say 7.8 out of 10 too much water, but there's no water at all, so this level just lied to me. In all seriousness, what's here is pretty freaking great. This fishy level is a great time, getting great use of Gobkos and the tuna shoots, aka the greatest things to walk this earth. I really like the spawner challenges, particular props for all the visual tells, and the late stage wind add a lot of appreciated variety. As a whole, this was just plain fun even without the advertised water. Of course, there's still a few issues. Besides Ace Manbo vanishing before his time, he could have worked really well with the wind, but he only appears once there and is easily dispatched. I found Big Fish to be overall lackluster. His concept is fine by...
What the heck?
by itself, but instances like the super tight ladder or tuna shoot sandwich can be aggravating due to a punishment factor. I also found I didn't like their purple shoot telegraph, as it seemed very tacked on and jarring with the rest of the visuals. Perhaps a contrasting color that isn't brand new to the palette might be ideal. Besides that, I found the invincible enemies didn't add very much to the level. They're oddly sporadic, to the point where it feels like they're barely a presence, and their introductions tend to be less than ideal. Despite the flaws, Wet is a pretty fun time. It's entertaining from start to finish, and the Kind fight is a good note to end on, even if his wind can easily kick in before we've had the chance to get a feel for his abilities. I'm glad you got to play this. 86! Aside from the obvious potential themes of water, I honestly wasn't sure what to expect from a stage simply entitled Wet. Turns out, there's not even a single drop of water anywhere in this level. Despite the absolutely blatant false advertising, though, I'm more than willing to forgive it, considering the stage is absolutely fantastic. It's one of the few good levels I've seen that centers around enemy spawners, and one of the rare ones that actually pulls off up and down style enemies well. I love how each aspect of this level is used, as the different jumping and floating fish variants, fish dispensers, and wind all complement each other perfectly throughout. All these elements are introduced fairly and have very clear telegraphs as well, meaning nearly any given slip-up or death is generally on the player rather than the fault of the level itself. That being said, however, there is one part near the middle of the stage that struck me as a bit off. That being a ladder directly over a big fish spawn that you need to jump to, right, with the wind against you. Making this jump without utilities is incredibly tight, so much in fact it feels more like an obstacle that should have been near the end of the stage. Aside from that one brief spike in challenge, the rest of the level's difficulty curve is really well structured. Honestly, I'm not sure if I have any other big complaints of this stage. The only thing to mention with this level is Kind, and again, I can't really harp on his fight. Much like the rest of the stage, it's really well put together, has fair telegraphs throughout, and doesn't overstay its welcome, even with his 1.5 bars worth of health. I didn't even mind the wind in his second phase, and I usually dislike those kinds of effects in boss fights. It's an overall great end to an excellent stage. Excellent work. Soggy. Bizarre title aside, it's a surprisingly well put together level, although a bit on the shorter side. Certainly creative use of the various fish enemies to center the entire level seem on. The fish dispensers as obstacles are especially silly and had me laughing. Good indications where the fishes would pop out, making it a fair experience despite those buggers' speed. Level provides a nice variant of platforming challenges and really clever setups while somehow managing to stick with the overall fish theming. It's honestly pretty amazing. This particular remix of Dark Castle is a bit unfitting to the theming of the stage, giving off a bit of a disorienting feeling with the odd pitch shift and instruments it shows. Boss is alright, most of its attacks are fairly learnable and engaging, but I keep having trouble leading the rainbow clones while also avoiding the boss from daggering me. The wind, while interesting as a boss and pinch mechanic, kind of felt like an unnecessary difficulty increase, as the fight is already a non-trivial one. Kinda had to dock a few fun points because of how that alone lingered on me on the entry longer than I would have liked. 98! This is what a level looks like when every aspect is carefully planned and polished, and it makes me so happy. You made a fish-themed level without any water, and it works. You made the underloved floppy fish a genuine hazard, and anyone familiar with my obscure Super Mario World ROM hack will understand why I'm so tickled you created a fish dispenser. You made enemies popping out of pits fair and fun, and for that I salute you. Between the seamless learning curve, smartly placed checkpoints, strategically sparing use of instant death, and frequent health refills, there's no question the level wants the player to succeed. At the same time, the player is constantly being tested by increasingly involved challenges that require good planning, timing, and situational awareness. Moreover, the music perfectly captures the balance between fluffy fun and stalwart seriousness. For me, this is platforming at its finest. The visuals are gorgeous, with right on the money with the amount of detail and variety. I noticed the little touches, bolts hanging on hooks, a boss portrait at the door, and the level credits works into some friendly dialogue that sets up the boss fight beautifully. It's purely a matter of personal preference that the boss fight delights slightly less than the rest of the level. The concept and execution are impeccable. Programming, layout, architecture, everything feels professional. I don't miss having tokens or split paths. I appreciate that the dispensed fish don't drop power-ups, thus avoiding any grinding potential. Swapping out bolts for weapon refills in 1 or 2 places is about all I want. Big fish that don't suddenly stop respawning are about all I need. Excellent level and truly a joy to play. Without a doubt, one of the highlights of being a judge was getting wet. Wet's main focus is something that is really easy to screw up. Timing challenges and gotcha pit enemies. Usually I'm right past that, and this stage ends up a really nice, fun, if easy, romp. Happy Wolf, by the way. The stage introduces its gimmicks in a thoughtful way. Clear graphical indicators of where surprise spawning enemies come in. This is a great way to handle this, but can sometimes get lost in the detailing toward the end of the level. But since the only times I found this happening were in non-lethal situations, this is a minor quibble at best. Most of the timing challenges are easy to grok. Few instances took any real effort to get down. I kinda wish there were just a few more difficult combinations of assets toward the end of the level. It's so close to nailing it, but it never quite reaches there. I think the highlight of the stage is the boss. Kynes is just a nice, clean, fun fight. Despite an enlarged health bar, it feels like it's justified thanks to being always vulnerable and having standardized defenses. Thanks to great use of the wind gimmick, the attacks are tricky the first time you encounter him, but it's predictable, making for a fairly engaging muscle memorization fight. I felt like going and no damaging it, since a really good sign the boss has stuck with me, so I rather enjoyed this level. She has really solid design chops and is super duper close to being superb. It's also one of my favorites, but I don't know if the stage is a tad too easy for its own good, but I'd much rather be left wanting more than having something that outstay its welcome. Great job! Imagine if the stage hadn't been late.
I don't know, people call me a blockhead, so I'm studying up here to prove them wrong. Try to read about next. Nuclear physics, trigonometry, or highly specific trivia about 20-year-old video games. The shelf has physical video games donated by Free Fish Inc. They have the entire Fine Eel Fantasy series. They also have Starfish Valley, Secret of Manta, Chrono Triggerfish, Dragonette Quest, and Baldur's Gate. Wow.
You might think that I was modified to noiselessly slide up walls as I stock shells. Far cry from my indefinite days of old. Being said, I still sometimes accidentally drop rocks on the patrons. Pardon me, Bastion. I'm in the midst of a fascinating read. Every day, animal behaviors change due to climate change. The hunter must always stay informed. Still, I can't believe animals could mutate this much due to human influence. Giant winged lizards, insects shaped like coins, walking trees. What will become of this Earth, Bastion? And we who will inherit it?
What is the...
hang on, I froze.
You froze?
Yeah.
Delicious. That's delicious and dungeon references there.
Okay. Oh, there we go. Cloud9 by Diamond Wolf.
Uh-oh.
Airman! Oh no, I can't defeat Airman. Bye.
Can't defeat Airman, jumps down pit immediately.
What's up the ladder?
Dunno.
M-Tank, okay. Nice work. Now to do it all again.
Susie's gonna keep jumping down pits. She'd eat it for him, jeez. Fly. Lots of waiting.
Hi. Time to die!
That'd be kind of a jerk place to put one of those. Wow. That is a very jerk place to put one of those.
Oh yeah, it's a fake.
That's extremely...
You can tell because its face is different.
We could have had that introduced a little bit earlier than that, you know? Seal is blocked off too. Why are you such an asshole in this person? Why? How are we supposed to get that?
Is the glass part of the platform fake?
I don't know, but that's a really jerk sort of placement for that. Like, wow. I don't know.
It's real. Nope, left.
I see it. I'm just trying to see where I'm at. That is a very, very jerkish introduction to that. I mean, I'm guessing that's supposed to be the introduction to that mechanic, which is not great. Oh no, we have to worry about the enemies sinking up here. This was a problem Mega Man 2 as well.
Swat!
Swat.
Swat, 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 swat. Got birds!
Speaking of birds.
Left. Yay!
Why is this level designed to be such an asshole to get stuff? It's just... My ruffled tiger goes swah, 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 swah. I don't know. Owie!
Snake Man Cloud! Wow.
The time performance is not that great. Hey, if RP Bastion ends up with Yoshi and takes the helicopter power up, he'll become a rafflecopter.
Yeah.
That's so...
My rafflecopter goes swat, 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 swat.
God, my throat gets affected by that medicine so bad. I can't wait for the actual, like, pills to be back in stock so I don't have to take a frickin', like, vape version of the medicine. Ugh. I hate that stuff. I know a lot of people like it, but it's like, how? How can you stand that?
No! What? Die.
Why are you such an asshole with these frickin' things? Oh, well, this is going to be...
They say every cloud has a silver lining.
Oh, this boss is terrible.
Finish him! Yay!
Oh, even the energy element is assholes.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's more competently designed than some of the earlier stuff. I think that's rated a little higher than it should have been. Yeah, Shuri agrees with me there.
Okay, we got an Airman vibe here. In some areas this works, but falls flat in others. It will stand strong with some of its visual aesthetic and teaching, but the Air Tiki paired with cloud platforms is an honorable mention. The visual aesthetic is quite pretty when it uses a parallax cloud, though it makes sections like the formerly solid white background look terrible. And a little eye steering. For teaching, the Laughing Imp was an entertaining fake-out, but the second appearance was a wonderful aha moment. It was easily the most interesting part of the level, by it being something by and large brand new.
There's stuff all over the floor.
Unfortunately, the level itself is just there. The introductory setups are solid, and the Laughing Imps make useful token challenges, with the only other memorable part is a spammy custom boss. Everything else just exists. It's generally just Airman 2.0, except arguably less interesting due to a bit less gimmick variety. There's an attempt to mix things up with the snake clouds, but not only are they not that interesting, being yet another weird cloud platform instead of something more gameplay changing like the Fan Fiends. The final token room associated with them is a bit broken. The low wall in the transition has killed me in some truly spectacular ways. There was at least a custom boss, but the big lightning lord is kind of a spam fest. I don't have a lot of drive to actually engage with some of the boss's intended challenges either, as some of dodging constant bolts on precarious clouds is rather annoying. You don't even need to the second one until it comes time to collect the element. The first cloud moves high enough that you can just buster snipe, which is just as well since it's easier to survive getting knocked off cloud 1. Outside of a few aspects, the stage didn't really stick out to me that much. It was a bit of a shame since it's obvious there was a good amount of effort put into it. The stage's biggest strength is easily its visuals. The scrolling and layering effects are all really nice looking, adding a lot of depth to what would otherwise just be a typical sky background. Oh, there's a part early on where the details completely stop and switch to a flat shade of blue. Intentional or not, this is still a pretty odd shift in background elements. Aside from that and some weird gray outlines and a few spikes, the visuals kept up their solid presentation. Sadly, the rest of the level didn't stand out in the same way. It essentially plays out like a more amped up version of Airman stage, which means a lot of hopping between cloud platforms. The actual platforming challenges are laid out decently, but they just weren't interesting enough to keep me invested in the level. To the point where I started to forget about entire segments after I passed them. Besides the visuals, the most memorable things here are the fake platforms and the boss. The former gets some interesting use in the hidden token rooms, so the second one threw me for a loop until I discovered Rush Bike was a solution to make those low ceiling jumps. The third token room also struck me as odd since the given solution didn't really seem like it should work, but surprisingly, sliding from the cloud platform is pretty consistent in getting through that small gap, even though it feels like Mega Man should drop off the side. Then we have the boss, which I honestly didn't enjoy that much. He sits in one spot and only has one attack he uses at a near constant rate. Fighting him on the cloud platforms isn't really good. It's really interesting. Not to mention you can make the fight a complete joke by using Spark Chaser. It's a pretty weak climax to an otherwise average stage. Airman 2.0 9.0 I need to get a throat lozenge thingy.
Alrighty.
As well.
Just waiting.
Do you? He. Alright, where was I? Airman 2.0, 9.0. Looks pretty with the cloud and parallax background. The aesthetics are definitely the strong point of the stage. As for the stages itself, kind of like a remix of Airman stage with a lot more addition to it, and kind of also had the same problem with the other remix entries of the context. Where the stage is stuck in a paradox.
What? What? That's, I guess, some kind of paradox that keeps happening.
A paradox of not certain if it wants to be faithful to the original or stand out as its own stage. Unfortunately, the one thing that remained faithful, still having to deal with the slow-moving clouds like the original Airman stage. The fake-out platforms with the Japanese goblin face difference is a pretty clever gimmick. Though the player can fall straight to death if jumping to the right of the goblin head in the first instance the gimmick is encountered. Pretty weird placements there. There's also room with the low ceiling jumps where you also can't really grasp how far the fake platform extends to. While also, because of low ceiling, a lot of the utility weapons are rendered useless. Needless to say, it wasn't a very fun room. Wonky transition due to low-hanging wall in the room with the third token. Also, it's deliberately made so you're very likely to die if you fail to time the very strict and awkward sliding window. As for the boss, it's a big lightning lord. The second cloud platform is a trap. You have less time to react to the lightning bolt throw, and you're very prone to getting knocked off. Otherwise, it's somewhat an underwhelming boss, but Airman has already had his fair share of appearances of the Magma franchise, so I'll take this. I'm not quite on Cloud 9 at this level, on account of some disorientation or repetition, but I still had fun. Disorientation? The scrolling background takes some adjusting. Without knowing the level layout in advance, the shifts between horizontal and vertical can be confusing if you don't follow the intended path. Bottomless pits are easily mistaken for screen transitions, and entering certain screens from a wrong angle can be disastrous. Repetition? Even if the cloud platform challenges aren't identical, most of them feel very similar. Shoot an enemy, wait for the right time to jump across a couple consecutive platforms. A checkpoint at the start of the left scrolling section would be appreciated. The beginning of the level is a slow but good tutorial that is a drag to replay after the real challenge kicks in. Fun? You bet! Excellent theming and atmosphere. Those fake-out platforms are some of my favorite things in the contest and are used highly effectively. Token challenges are clever and hidden well. The first one is fantastic.
What?
The mini-boss fight has a... I mean, you had the bad luck of jumping straight through the fake platform several times in a row.
Yeah, I mean, if it was... I don't think that makes it great there. That's kind of like... Maybe if it was over to the right, and if we were to introduce the mechanic earlier so we know what the heck it is.
But it makes a good fake-out when used that way.
It is a good fake-out, but you should also introduce the mechanic earlier than that instead of forcing the player to restart the level.
The main boss fight has a simple twist that works surprisingly well. The question is backward lightning bolts in a normally wide hitbox. The boss is satisfying with thoughtful weaknesses. The rest of the level is fine, just leaves me wanting more. The lead up to the boss gate is a little anticlimactic. More combat, larger lyric songs maybe, or a more unconventional platform usage like in the final token challenge would help shake the occasional feeling that the challenges are mostly variations on Airman, and Snake Man to a lesser extent. Lyrics and Gremlins are functionally similar, so I'd swap out one for another enemy type. But you know what? The level doesn't need these things to be enjoyable. The low points are totally manageable, and the high points are very high. One of the recurring issues with the stages in this contest that resembled overall the OG Robot Master stages, they often feel very derivative. Comes down to, I saw 1 or 2 enemy types that were the original, but worse. But not this. Despite being a rehash of Airman's level, obviously, it does not in fact feel like a rehash of Airman's level. It has an identity of its own, and that is something that should be praised. Because, yeah, for how it's constructed to the new additions, this is not Airman's level. For instance, I just adored a false floor gimmick. It's very, very cute, and utilizing the cloud platforms from Snake Man stage, alongside the ones from Airman stage, is one of those obvious in hindsight moments that still elicit a feeling of playing something I hadn't seen in the OG games. Graphically, it really stood out to me. This is a very polished looking level, given the obvious drawbacks of Airman not having a lot to work with. The token challenges were clever, although I'm not convinced the final one is exactly intuitive to find. I appreciate finding a new boss, but he's not the strong point of the stage. It's a finicky but simplistic boss. I don't think he detracts from the level, but it's not exactly one I feel the urge to refight. This is a stage that left me wanting more, and now that I've said elsewhere, that is something I'd always rather see than a level outliving its charm. It's not an award-winning level, but keep up the stage designing. I'm sure the next thing will knock it out of the park. Good job. Bet you think I stand out in a place like this, don't you? Well, let me tell you, Chuck, a bab like me's gotta be more literate than a philosopher to survive. Union stuff requires all kinds of paperwork. No scummy bosses out there, it's important to know your rights. Sure, you could hire a lawyer, but I say it's always better to stand up for yourself by yourself. Plus, those pen pushers charge a blooming large fee. I've taken quite the interest in blackout poetry lately. It's rather beautiful, isn't it? The remaining letters are much like stars, connecting together in a constellation of words. I'd like to try this art out myself, actually. You know what? Why not right now? Let's go. Yay. Wow. Thog edits.
What? Abandoned mine.
5% time penalty. Mango and Mongo together. Together at last.
Why?
I don't know. You're playing someone else now.
Well, just say it's an oddly shaped dragon form. I don't know. Oh, we have restricted use of course we do. Okay, shooting their hand to get rid of them is pretty neat. Whoa! Well, I didn't expect that.
Nice! Probably want to go to the right. The compass didn't give you an alert there.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
Oh, because there's a sign in the background.
I mean, Bastion still has his displacer tentacles, technically.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Oh no, because I have fast blink. I have the fast animation on. I hyper blink.
Yeah. Woo!
Well, a little quick on the trigger finger.
Ah!
Here's some jerk enemy placements on this. It's got an interesting idea.
Oh, I see. You need to shoot and then make your way up, quick.
Ugh.
Bonk. Nope, this is gonna suck to both of us.
It kills me. What?
Why'd you respawn?
I just... Oh, whatever. This... Yeah, that multiplayer death lag really seems to get... Oh, this sucks! This is ridiculously tight jumping here.
Almost!
Oh, I hate that! I'm just hitting dash, I'm not hitting jump, what the hell? I'm hitting dash! Why am I jumping when I hit the edge of that? What the hell? Stop that!
Ugh, the lag keeps getting me.
Yeah, I think that's just causing me to jump too, or something there. There we go.
Yeah!
It's a freaking jump at that moment.
Sweet.
Ow. What? I'm guessing you jumping up respawn the enemy on the
I guess.
there.
All we needed for that is a falling piano soundbite. Whoops.
What? Yeah.
Woo!
It's just stupid.
Well, here we are.
Yay! You got to.
It's the FX,
Who?
probably. One of the Mega Man forms in the ZX. Maybe. Clunk.
Kind of hard to dodge some of this stuff. I think it's supposed to be maybe a Sentai reference thing? I don't know.
No, it's based on fighting Fafnir.
Who?
One of the three guardians of Neo, one of the four guardians of Neo Arcadia.
Okay, I don't remember this stuff at all from him, but
He's got the weapon. I don't know about the bombs, but he's got the weapon.
I didn't really even know. I don't really remember that too much. He's got a crap load of health for no reason.
Yeah, did you see what his weakness is? Actually, I guess it's gotta be Break Dash, huh?
I have no idea.
Ooh.
Why did it come down the ceiling? Oh, jeez. Oh, yeah, this is gonna be stupidly hard to dodge.
Got him.
Jeez. Okay.
Wailord!
Don't ask for a life-size one of these. We've been over this. There's a reason they eat, like, the Arcanine plush is only half life-size, because you would never... You could turn it into a frickin' bed if it was life-size.
Well, I definitely didn't expect to turn into Gray for a level. Bold move submitting a ZXS level to a Mega Man Classic design contest. Does it work? Sort of.
I've never played ZX too, so you have to remember that I'm not going to get any references to that.
I've never played ZX either. I haven't even... Well, I haven't played very far into ZX. I haven't played ZX Advent at all.
Yeah, I've heard they're kind of I mean, I have them on the collection, I just never played them.
Level design isn't bad. The enemy set is distinct, particularly the cannon platforms and the hanging galleons. The exploding floor gimmick is very Grenade Man, but it makes an effective mix with Gray's dash ability. Finally, the new character controls pretty well, and this game is careful to introduce his mechanics in the event you don't know his game. Unfortunately, once the novelty wears off, the level is downright boring. Part of it is the aesthetic. It feels extremely drab compared to the vibrance of the actual games. And part of it is just because the level largely leans on Gray's mechanics instead of trying to do anything interesting itself. Neither dashing nor wall jumping is super amazing. By Gray's time frame, these are standard mechanics, and dashing is outright one of the base's abilities. And the level that relies almost entirely on just standard mechanics won't be doing very well. Just ask Woodman. Very little of the level actually sticks out to me, despite the serviceable design and the odd, cute details. The only times the level feels memorable to me are the 2 boss fights. The Deluxe Galleon can get an annoying amount of airtime, but its attacks are interesting, and the fight feels reasonable. Atlas, meanwhile, is an awesome conclusion to the level, boasting a variety of skills and a wonderfully fast pace. Unfortunately, she's also a little glitchy. She managed to do some weird slide fire with her aim buster at least once. As a final issue, the tokens are too precise for their own good. Not bad ideas, just they're a wee bit much. I get the idea what this is going for, but honestly, I don't think this hits the mark. It's been a while since I played the ZX games. Even so, you got me wanting to go back and replay them, especially after how solid this stage turned out. The platforming in this stage is really well put together. It goes from simple setups that allow you to get used to dashing and wall jumping, and then steadily ramps up from there with more complex but still reasonable room and enemy layouts to take full advantage of your movement options. On the subject of the dash, thank you for making it so the increased speed from it carries over into your wall climbs automatically until you touch the ground again. Having to press the slide button every time you want to wall dash like how you would in the official series would have made that so much more cumbersome, and I'm grateful it was avoided here. Knowing that definitely alleviated a lot of potential frustration that could have come from the token rooms as well. There's any major issue I can point to with this stage though, and I should say it actually comes from the spring enemies. Besides the boss fights, I think the majority of the damage I received in this stage was from the extra shots they fire out while jumping on top of those stationary turret enemies. They're not impossible to avoid, but I did find them a little frustrating to take on without abusing magnetic shockwave. Besides them, I didn't really have an issue with any of the other enemies, except maybe a few of their placements in the pit section with up and down replacements. But even then, they're relatively easy to get around with weapons. As far as the bosses go, the mini-boss is nothing to really write home about, being a solid fight with pretty standard but still threatening projectile patterns if you're not taking it seriously. Atlas, meanwhile, gets a pretty faithful fight to the source material, but also comes with a few issues. She has a lot going on and can easily flood the screen with projectiles in her second phase to further confuse things. Speaking of her second phase, that's also where I found the sole bug of this level. Atlas's position can easily desync from her usual pattern as the fight goes on, which is very easy to do given she has 2 health bars. This causes her to go do things like put mines down in the wrong spots or slide along the ground during her desperation attack. It's a minor thing at first.
That's what was happening to me, where I was like, how did the weird flames down the wall and stuff?
It's a minor thing at
that
first.
explains it.
But it does throw off the pace and timing on things if you let it go for too long, which for a boss fight like this seems pretty crucial. All that aside, however, I really enjoyed my time with this stage. Great work with this one. A-Trans! A little ZX Advent crossover and callback. The stage lets you do dash jump and wall climbing, which definitely takes a bit to get used to in a classic setting. Thankfully, the stage is not strict to push you into mastering them, since most often jumps are doable without actually needing the wall kick. For those who want to utilize the new movement, there are always the side token rooms designed with the mechanics in mind. Also a bit unfortunate that Gray was not given unique sprites for wall climbing. It's not a big deal, but without a clear visual indication for confirming the input can be a little awkward sometimes. The spring enemy and the shooting thing is pretty neat. Enemies interacting with the environment or gimmick are always nice to see, but perhaps they are a bit overused throughout. I like the extra little interaction you can shoot the ceiling cleaning guys in the hand, and they fall down from losing balance. Some more backgrounds would have been neat, too much blank void. The fight with Atlas is fine, though she often shoots the normal shots without much tell. Some of the attacks are also rather hectic to dodge around. Doesn't help that for the ground pound attack, the warning symbol doesn't exactly convey the range the explosions would have. There's a weird instance one time where she was on the standing pose that she was moving around. Kinda strange. Pardon me, but I believe you're looking for the Make a Good Mega Man ZX level contest, which is down the hall. I'll judge the level anyhow, but to me, the spirit of this contest is classic-style Mega Man. The core gameplay alterations and forced costume change rub me the wrong way, even if the rules don't explicitly prohibit them. Having said that, I'm impressed with the quality of the design. Introductions are really well thought out, keeping in mind new hazards and new game mechanics. The mini-boss is solid, and I like how it's partial practice for the main boss. The delayed hint box at the beginning, directional signs in the backgrounds, and alerts in the boss fight reinforces the attentiveness to the player's experience. Some gripes include a few negligible technical issues, a color scheme that makes the interesting tile work feel a bit drab, and a level title that undersells the enemy population of this mine. Health refills are concentrated around checkpoints where they're least useful, and the only weapon refill is an M-Tank. The boss and tokens, while exciting and completely appropriate for a ZX game, might be a stretch for classic players who need more than one level. 2 if you count the Hero as remix of practice with dashing, wall jumping, and strategy-altering utilities restrictions. Although a bit heavy on galleons for my taste, one more gimmick or enemy type would have been welcome. The challenges make good use of each asset. Every section feels purposeful and well placed. My favorites are the beginning where there's an incentive to stick to the top path, and the area with platforms suspended over a sprawling abyss which epitomizes the level's look then act mentality I enjoy so much. The button activated cannons are fun too. This level has a vision, and everything from the music to the gameplay contributes to its success. Boo! I want to judge using my in-game Dav skin. Forcing another character on me is not cool, man. In all seriousness, this is another stage where it may not be breaking the rules, but I feel it breaks the spirit of a classic-themed contest. But unlike the other stages shoehorned into later series Mega Man style of gameplay, this one isn't quite as dull and offers something new. It's still rather uninteresting. That really is the main issue, as despite the hot new playable character, it just feels way too safe at the same time. This does do some stuff right. The destruct blocks serve dual purposes, both to block wall climbing and shots and also open up paths. These are a nice solid gimmick, used reasonably well, and there's some cute moments involving dropping enemies.
Unless they kill you.
The optional time climbs are rather thrilling, not quite hard enough to get frustrating, but not so lackadaisical that it's devoid of challenge. And I can praise the stage for one more great thing. For what it has to teach, it teaches well. Most of the enemies poured from ZX Advent are neat too, and I can't help but be amused by being able to knock away the Galleon's shields. Hell, the other little interactions given with the enemies elevate the identity and charm of the stage. New sprites are frankly more fitting than the minigame in ZX Advent. Galleon's no longer being Mega Man edits is a big improvement. And while it's not perfect, the lineup for the new, old enemies is pretty consistent. Overall, this is a nice looking level. Stone Man's tiles always look nice in new color palettes. Even if I am getting a bit bored of them, especially with so many mine-themed levels. That might be part of the stage's problem. Such a generic concept doesn't really fit the boss at all. Would have preferred seeing Atlas's original desert and oil complex stage theme here instead. And about Atlas, I'm very conflicted about the boss. Was she the original intention for the stage? She really does feel out of place. And the fight is rather questionable. Having both attacks to have tells that are too long was kind of defeating the point of said attacks in the first place. And attacks that have basically no tell and will amount to a lot of unavoidable damage. It's pattern-based in spots. Certain attacks always follow other attacks, but given there's just random projectiles flying about the screen, and the sheer amount of splitting shots, she's a very hard to grok boss fight here. Due to how RNG heavy she is, she's either a cakewalk or hands you your tail, and I did eventually perfect run her, and I don't really feel I earned that win. I will admit, I haven't played ZX Advent since my wrist issues flared up, but I don't remember Atlas being quite this hard to parse. I think the animation style of those games lend themselves to better subtle tells. NES sprites need more exaggeration in tells, especially bosses that are the size of Mega Man. Although, I will acknowledge, even in her source game, she had a habit of pulling off rather useless attacks. I don't think this fight was calibrated correctly for this art style and game speed. This is a weird one to rate. The stage does an awful lot right, and I can't deny it has charm, but at the same time, fails to really engage. $51!
Look who it is! Thank you! It's the librarian from Symphony of the Night.
All of these books suck! Why are so many people going out of their way to read them? You should go out into the world trying to find all sorts of creatures like me!
Pikachu, huh?
History is written by the winners, as the saying goes. Sure, won't find much of value here. If all goes well for me, perhaps the dial will turn in Robot Kind's favor, never so slightly. I'm sure you're more than comfortable with your mark on literature, however. You open a random book for fun and a little sticky note in it. It says, the Wi-Fi password is password 1985. I mean, guess this is useful knowledge, but I'm not sure why people put sticky notes in books like this.
Magmatic Panic.
What was that time penalty?
I didn't see. Instant death lasers!
Wait, why am I gray now?
I think it glitched. What? Oh, we found a new glitch.
Whoops.
Oh no, not this again. Oh no, you can't combine those two. Are you still gray?
Yes.
What is going on? What the heck is going on? Susie made fun of Bastion for getting turned into some weird, like, Sentai-looking human thing. And now it's I did that according to the sound, but it kept going. It's not a good combination. At least you can see them. Oh no.
Go, go, go! Yeah! Stuff!
Need a checkpoint.
Yeah.
Oh, this level's a heck of a lot of waiting. Checkpoint, please.
Woo!
Checkpoint, please.
It's coming up.
I see it, yeah. We're gonna have to try to reset the costumes after this, I guess.
I guess. Although the episode's almost over. Or the stream. It's almost time to stop.
Hopefully we're close to the boss. Oh no.
That didn't work.
I found a non-working block down there though. I bounced off the lava. Don't think that was supposed to happen.
That is some real tight timing there.
What the hell?
That looks like a job for Ice Wall.
I mean, I had something that would work for that, it's just, I didn't know that was coming up. Oy. Sometimes with the lag with multiplayer, it's the sound, you can't trust the sound. Which is a little annoying, but whatever. Not exactly a multiplayer design level here. Oh. Right? Mini boss. After all that. Ay. I still think this is one of the worst mini bosses in Mega Man. Very beep-boopy music this is. Jeez, the timing on this is kind of insane. I didn't even hear that go off. Oh!
Well, you got it.
I got it. That is some god-awful frickin' challenge there. Jeez. If you hate instant death lasers, this is not. It's better than some of the earlier ones with these, but it's still kind of super annoying.
Gooey!
It's also the tight ladder timing like that is also a problem when you have fast ladder climbing.
Oh, I can't climb down through that.
You see what I mean? This level has difficulty of, like, absurd. At least we don't have Yoko blocks along with these, that would be even worse.
Ugh. These magma lasers just lag the heck out for me. It's all the flashing, I think. Of course, you having your breakdance charged up doesn't help either. Nice.
No, it's not nice because it frickin' glitched out and I couldn't make the jump. I mean, the lag out is not on the level designer, but that's still super annoying. What?
What?
Okay. What? Lag, I guess? That sure was something. Oh, this is an annoying level.
It didn't actually help.
No, it certainly did not.
Oh.
I don't think Ice Beam is Ice Wall is really going to help too much. The way this is designed is kind of counter to a lot of that.
But it's like the one thing Ice Wall is good for.
True, but it's also like...
Yeah!
Oh, the lag it cut off my frickin' shadow charge there from your death. This is annoying. You dying for some reason stopped my frickin' shadow dash from working. Why does the shadow dash just sometimes refuse to work? I don't understand. That is extremely annoying. Uh-oh, are these gonna be out of sync now? Okay, good. Yeah, let's not do that.
Could you ride Rush Bike across the lava?
I would still die in one hit to the stupid lava attacks.
That's true.
Probably. Yeah, that's not gonna help at all.
Yeah, but you can drop it on the ones below you. Or
I hate
miss.
this level so much. These swinging platforms and lava things do not mix together. I am sorry, this is awful. That makes it so awful. We had an earlier level with them, and everyone criticized it for the same reason. This is so annoying. At least it works there. And, okay, multiplayer, the dash does not work correctly. The timing gets thrown off by any bit of multiplayer lag, which is bad.
You made it!
Finally, just god-awful. Oh, this would be a hell to Buster only. Oh,
Hi,
hi.
Fireman.
A lag death! My jump got cut off mid-jump!
The jump only half jumped?
Yes, because it just cut off mid-jump and I couldn't jump over the fire attack.
LOL.
The boss is much easier than that annoying level, jeez. That level is not designed for multiplayer at all.
Alright, what we got?
Lag.
Magmatic Panic, 5% time penalty.
It's like me and Shinryu were thinking the same thing again, almost. Maybe.
Well, this level definitely has an appropriate name. Certainly I was crazy anxious the entire time. In this case, that's probably a good thing. It's a rarity to see instant death gimmicks that can sustain an entire stage, but the magma beams here do a good job. The level maintains a consistent stream of new and frightening setups, breaking it up every so often with simple enemies, and it spruces things up with pendulums and count bombs to make an entertaining experience. Some of my highlights were the combinations. Getting pendulums and magma beams to work together without being unfair is a huge challenge that this level largely manages. The only one I felt a little odd was the very last one. It's telling that I find it easier to grab the token instead of going the normal route. I also appreciate the care taken with the count bombs. There's a lot more wiggle room with them than you might expect. And I just loved when the magma beams murdered enemies for me. I got a kick out of spontaneously exploding nets. If there's one aspect I feel warrants criticism, it's the implementation of Karakari. The first encounter is almost uncomfortably claustrophobic given the fiery death just behind you. After that, every future cart might as well be harmless, particularly the one that's trapped between the wall and count bombs. I appreciate that Karakari's there, since the enemy variety is understandably a bit low, but I wish it was handled better. Otherwise, this is a Magma Beam level that deserves a solid play, even if I never want to play it again because of my anxiety. Admittedly, I'm struggling to come up with things to say about this one. Not because it's bad, mind you, but it's not exactly the most memorable level either. It's just a perfectly average fire-themed stage with decent gimmick application. The Jewel Swings and Magma Generators are two gimmicks that, depending on how they're used, have a strong chance of not meshing well together. I'm happy to see her pull off relatively fine here, mostly thanks to her setups not being too overwhelming for the most part. By comparison, the enemy placement is a bit hit or miss. Sometimes they make the situation more interesting, and other times they're lined up in ways that don't really contribute much to the room layout. I don't know what's up, as a whole is pretty easy, save for one specific part. Trying to get the token at the end. While it's definitely possible to get it without dying, the time required to do so is really precise. Though I don't mind this being the toughest challenge in the level, it still feels like a huge jump in difficulty compared to everything else. Other than that, there's not much else to talk about here. All in all, it's a perfectly serviceable stage for when it is. Fiery Swings! Dangerous Contraptions! A relatively vanilla level with a simple premise. Navigate through the stage while finding safe spots between the magma beams. It's executed quite well in this. The difficulty is quite spot on for this one. Challenging, but it's also not overly brutal or become frustrating to retry. I really like the combination of the swinging platforms and magma beams used here. They create an interesting dynamic where you need to time your movement properly to get the swing to be at the apex at the right moment. Though as the stage goes on, there seems to be a reverse difficulty curve going on, and it also feels like the stage becomes easier towards the end, especially regarding the challenges involving the swinging platforms. I feel the part where you swing between the two magma beams should be moved to the last session for a better overall flow. Fireman to end things off is also a slight disappointment. Not as dangerous here as in his original game, but he's also not really that interesting of a fight overall. I suppose it's better entering the entry slightly underwhelmed than irritated by a potential problematic boss for to be chosen. So you can use magma lasers and jewel platforms together without making me weep in agony.
Maybe?
Observe, then act quickly. That's a gameplay style I greatly enjoy and it's implemented well here. The timing on each screen, especially where count bombs are concerned, feels comfortably tight. The same issue could be said of the architecture, which firmly controls the flow of the level without feeling overbearing. Generous power-ups ensure the player always has the option to use special weapons, which ease the difficulty without destroying it. Highly focused theming, a music track befitting the level name, and modestly elaborate graphics create a good atmosphere. This level makes the most of Ladder's twisty architecture, differently angled lasers, strategically placed enemies, and gimmick synergy. The token challenge at the end is especially devious. Allowing a few of the enemies to be zorched by lasers is a nice touch. My only disappointments are with the mini-boss and boss, who fit the premise but lack pizzazz. Any other issues are minor enough. I had some trouble telling the wall and background ceiling apart on account of the colors. And the sheer number of death lasers made the level a little exhausting on a replay, when I wasn't being nearly as cautious. I might restructure the order of the challenges and finesse a few screens, but nothing stands out that needs improvement. Challenges that are focused, pretty well refined, tough but fair, and just the right complexity, this is a level I can get behind, at a safe distance of course. Those lasers hurt. While I like the intellectual design put into this level, I just didn't think it was very fun. There was an awful lot of the player waiting around and doing nothing. The player quickly sees what they have to do on any given screen, so the entire play experience becomes very mechanical. What really drags the level down is checkpoint placing, meaning single mistakes are incredibly punishing. There are not many rooms between checkpoints, but it takes a long time to get through those rooms. Individually, most of the rooms work great. However, the sheer number of rooms that use magma beams, a gimmick whose very nature revolves around waiting, drags the entire experience down. Fewer of these rooms, and perhaps choosing objects from a larger pool than just Mega Man 9 would have given the player far more variety in the challenges they were faced with. There were a couple of issues with the second long room. The first jump between the count bombs is incredibly tight, and the final set of magma beams will always result in a death as you do not know the second one exists. Both the mini-boss and the boss just seem to have just been thrown in for the sake of having one. 50th place.
Compass Man. People often turn to me for book recommendations, but I'm never the type to recommend things. It's hard to pick favorites. I think about it. People also turn to me a lot to ask for directions. A whole lot of other things. But I think I am some kind of almighty... wait a minute. Isekai. Oh no.
Heavy novels. Cursed Darkness by Scatman's World. Alright, 50th place.
Uh-oh.
Token skip, okay. I can barely tell my left ditch from my right in this pitch black stage. We were expecting to go through it deathless for 2 of its tokens. Thankfully got copies of all tokens over there. Grab what you need.
Deathless for 2 tokens? Yeah, let's not do that.
Good thing there was another one of those.
You're back to the... Susie is... Where have you gone, Susie? Down the... Well, the pit. I'm not sure if she's in the pit, but...
Rats. N. Oh, Nitro. Okay.
I can't tell if this is where I'm supposed to go, or...
I think it's a split path.
Oh, lovely. So this is one of those levels they want you to play multiple times, I guess.
That is usually what a split path implies. I thought I've even seen the tokens yet.
I know, it seems like a long level.
There's a possible token. Rude!
I still have left.
Let's go the other way.
Yeah, I get the feeling we have to take each route for a token, which is just extremely annoying. Yeah. Oh, no. Wait, why isn't the stupid compass working? Oh, that's
because we have the
collected at
tokens,
beginning,
probably.
yeah. Huh. Yeah, this is gonna be an annoying level.
I love the music, though.
Yay, first checkpoint.
Second.
Okay. Which way was supposed to be the thing that was...
Token to the right.
In this place?
No.
I mean, doesn't really matter. We already got it, I guess, so...
Ow. Nice.
So many Nitro things are lagging me out. Whoa!
Nice work.
Oh, that was for a token. Okay.
Yeah.
So many rats. Whoa! These rats do a ridiculous amount of damage, jeez. Ugh!
Wombo tank!
It's a very long stage with...
Great, but you died. Okay,
Great,
Crash Bandicoot. What? What? What just happened?
What? I broke it, I guess? Oh, it kills you
Oh.
to here, I guess.
Yay!
Why would you punish people for dying in a level like that that is that long with that much instant death? That is
Because
just
Crash
not good
Bandicoot.
design. I don't care if it's Crash Bandicoot, that's still stupid!
Crash Bandicoot is stupid.
I mean, I'm not gonna argue with you there about that.
Yeah, I want to like this level, I really do. Cursed Darkness is a rare case where I actually really enjoy a Dark Knight's gimmick. The Pharaoh cans work really well throughout most of the level, especially the third token. The Nitro cans have a good concept behind them, working really well with the McShooty face. And I appreciate the way they combine with enemies. The remainder of the gimmicks works pretty well, but the enemy set is downright excellent, but for the most part the experience was a joy to play up until the last stretch. Before that final stretch, the level looks extremely well crafted. The Pharaoh cans last just the right amount of time. The level takes great care to give you all the information you need. Props for the items and mouseables that mark platforms especially. And it works very hard to make itself fair, best highlighted by using damage spikes instead of death spikes. The final stretch abandoned those previous benefits, with a lot less platforms marked in sections where you really don't want the lights on unless the McShooty face knock you into a pit, but the Nitro can up and downs are the biggest sticking point. They aren't introduced safely at all, easily killing you on the first appearance, and it can be stuck in some royally nasty positions. Considering the less of the level is completely fair, and Pharaoh Man is a great fight, it's a crying shame how badly the end segment drops the ball. But then we have the no-death tokens. Oh boy. Darkness gimmicks are already nasty, and having a timer on your light means more incentive to rush the level. More importantly, that final section is rather on the cheap side, but now we're asking players to do this entire about 50 screen level, complete that awful final section without dying once. That's completely bloody hideous. I don't mind doing no deaths on the untime, but for the love of Pete, don't make it a requirement for 100%. The result would force the player to play the stage twice, and with that mess of a final section, trying to get those bloody tokens slaughtered a lot of my goodwill, and I walked away frustrated beyond belief. Just, wow, this darkness-based level had me enjoying myself throughout, only to go entirely too far in the end. What a way to shoot yourself in the foot. If anything, the main gimmick here is certainly interesting. As for everything else surrounding it, well... The thing is, I'm actually a bit torn with this one. While the light gimmick does make sections a bit more engaging, as it basically acts like a small timer, the platforming segments themselves waver back and forth between boring and actually interesting. There are a number of sections, especially the ones involving the Guts list, that I didn't really care for due to how relatively basic their setups were. And for how much waiting around was involved. It does pick up a bit more in the later segments though, especially when those eyes start to become a more prominent hazard. The final stretch in particular was rather enjoyable, although I do think those up and down nitro canisters could have used a better introduction or telegraph. As a whole though, I think the stage is at its best when it's focusing on more unique challenges surrounding the main gimmick. I see those are the token groups. You actually stand out quite a bit from the rest of the stage thanks to their more clever layouts, such as one that has you going to the end of the room with the lights on, but then needing to make your way back in complete darkness. With that being said, I'm not a fan of how you go about getting the last two tokens. Aside from my dislike of being gated off from something for simply dying, I feel like this tokens could have been hid behind far better challenges. It definitely soured the ending of the stage a bit for me. That was somewhat redeemed by the boss. He's not all that difficult, but he does take decent advantage of the main gimmick, along with having quite a few interesting attacks. Overall, the concept for this level is sound. I just wish the level had more interesting room layouts, plus a way more lenient way to get those final two tokens. Good work, but you missed two tokens. Casts Cratefall on you. I'm going to be blunt here. I don't like darkness gimmicks. Building a whole stage centered around darkness mechanics, let's just say I didn't have a good first impression of the stage. Didn't mind the stage as much on successive playthroughs. The stage could have been a whole lot meaner with the darkness for sure, but thankfully it remains fair for the most part. It provides enough healthing tools along the way, such as the Pharaoh cans. Refreshing drinks! They're fairly well placed just as the lights would go out, or after sessions where you need to see to avoid pitfalls. Explosions from nitro blocks also cause temporary light, which helps. The background guys getting angry at the light can make things a bit hectic though, since they also react to the nitro explosions and start shooting you. Bunch of grumpy fellas. Gutsless seem to not sync with the mace trap too well if you decide to wait on the section for a little too long. The real kicker though is the tokens. Not sure if I'm a huge fan of locking tokens away to a no-death requirement. I get that this is a reference to Crash Bandicoot down to the nitro crates and the music and the whole darkness thing apparently, but IDK, this kind of locking collectibles behind perfection challenge is not for everyone. Not for me, that's for sure. I kinda enjoy the Pharaoh Man fight and how you have to light up the room again to reveal the man himself to shoot. This level brilliantly inverts Brightman's main level gimmick for Mega Man 4, making it simultaneously worthy of a boss called Darkman and appropriate for the photosensitive Pharaoh Man. The real curse here is that these clever challenge arcs aren't organized as well as they could be. For a warm-up to the main gimmick, the first arc goes on a few screens too long and is a little heavy on instant death. In contrast with the first token, you're effectively dead if you lose your light. Uneven difficulty from arc to arc and unclear directionality at each split detract from the individual quality of each section. Minus a few slightly messy screens, what's here is good. I just think it needs to be shuffled around and divided up differently in terms of screen transitions. It's honestly not a huge one. Beyond that, there are little annoyances that take me out of the moment, such as inconsistent canister behavior between the boss fight and the rest of the level. What's more important are all the things that make this level so fun, such as the snoozy wall cats, I hope they're cats, and the reward for a no-death run. I enjoy when gameplay, graphics, audio, and story work together to develop a theme. Any level can have a darkness gimmick, but there's some tasty tension in listening to eerily understated music while exploring a spooky castle that pressures you to be hasty in the light and cautious in the dark. Fun boss banter and an exciting boss fight tie everything together, pulling on the threads of past games to weave a surprisingly thought-provoking narrative. What narrative? What banter? And yes, I noticed the subtle nod to the contest rule against adding or modifying weapons. Don't worry, you're safe.
Oh.
Oh, right. Initially experienced by proxy, let it be known that I was rooting for his stage as I watched Loyana play it. That the final 2 tokens destroyed my goodwill, any goodwill that I had after the gauntlet that was needed to overcome to obtain them. When I finally got well enough to play these for myself, I felt dread since I'd have to experience them myself. Thematically, the light gimmick is a really cool idea, and I really like how integrated everything about Pharaoh Man is in the level. Pharaoh Shot being used as a gimmick is wonderfully unique, however, I feel there's a fundamental flaw with how the light works in the level and how it handles failure. Running out of time means you are stuck in complete darkness with no way to recover. In almost all instances, this results in death. Mainline games, barring a particularly stupid segment in Shade Man, offer a way to reset the light in the room or use platforms that are visible in some way. I do not know how you could fix your version of the gimmick to a way that felt satisfying to play. And this is a fundamental flaw with the level. Sometimes there is no fix. This is a gimmick that effectively forces constant movement, but you add in a couple of places in a level where precognition is required to not die. In the last section of the level, there's an eye below 4 dropping platforms that guarantees to kill you if you do not stop. There's also a light canister later on that can be destroyed by the exploding barrel, which can pop up as you are trying to shoot the canister. It seemed like an oversight, but combined with the first problem, felt very frustrating. I liked the use of the nitro canisters and felt that those sections worked well. It felt like a much fairer mechanic than the light canisters, especially as they could be reset. The boss cutscene was pretty atrocious. My head hit the desk and Loyana's face sank during a proxy play. What cutscene?
What?
There wasn't a cutscene! And I zoned out when I finally got to play the level. Ugh, stop, why? Ugh. Thankfully, the boss fight itself was fun and original, using attacks I'd honestly never seen before. Heck, the whole level was a really good reinterpretation of a dev kit asset, and I was really impressed by that. Seeing those tokens happen really is amazing how much goodwill they cost.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of massive books here that seem to be detailing excessive, overcomplicated lore. Going on and on about what happened in X universe filled with useless trivia and endless twists and turns. Who would ever inject stuff like this into a work of fiction? Bah. You ever realize just how many books there are in this place based off my Christmas escapades? I should be getting royalties for this. They're stealing my tale and using it for profit. What do you mean I was based off one of those stories too? I'm taking this to court.
We still have levels to do. Yep.
I'm always fascinated by the power of fiction to display worlds wildly different than ours. My favorite manifestation of this is long-form alternate universe novels. So much about the fabric of reality can change with even the tiniest differences. Right now I'm reading an 85-chapter long fic that's an alternate universe where instead of a reclusive boy being the star of the show, it's a compassionate young girl instead. Hey, why are you walking away from me?
It is you.
Not to brag or anything, but... Actually, I'm totally bragging, but did you know that yours truly has made history books several times? All of those times of which have been documented in this very library. Can you say the same? Bet you can't. Froggos.
Frogs.
Greetings. I have paused the boy to answer your questions. Now what do you... Oh, no, that's not right. I'll never be good enough to man the information boot. Get so nervous, I'm Bastion's biggest fan, I can't wait to meet him.
Information.
I wonder what he looks like. There are a lot of books here lined up by someone named Salmon A. Salt. One seems to detail the record history of all kinds of different track races. Presto is mentioned a lot. A few of the pages are vandalized by people who really, really hate Presto. I'm so mad, why is this happening again? Who put children in the library again? Why can I not read books in peace?
We got quite a few levels left to do, jeez. Oh, there's the tier boss.
Yeah. Alright, let's go get our costumes fixed up, I guess.
I mean, it's midnight, but
yeah, okay.
Let's get the costumes fixed up first, and then.
Oh hey, they fixed the costume menu.
Did you had one equipped that wasn't even there to buy?
That's a funny bug to find.
Alright, well I guess that's it for now. It's midnight there. Alright, well. I'll be back on Monday at least. I don't know if I'll play more of this tonight or not. Why can't I control anything? Hello? Thank you. If I do, I'll pop back on, play through my solo thing and try to catch up. But if not, I'll do my own stuff. But hey, that'll be it. Second, we can at least see them movie end off.
Woo!
Weird. Like, we're getting into better design levels, but there's still a lot of annoyance in some of them.
Yeah.
Jeez. Especially with the multiplayer. Just, I mean, Mega Man's not exactly designed for multiplayer.
Well, anyway, I will be here tomorrow for more Xenoblade. Have to see you all then. Bye-bye, everybody! Puppies.